I really should have dressed up for this. I didn't know I could wear dungarees today. I would rather have done it, you know that. I almost wore a tie, which I never wear, ever, ever. And so anyway, thank you very much. You were great. You were terrific. We miss you at the aquarium. I was there yesterday, and we were one short in taking care of the belugas. So where the hell were you? Look, this is very informal, and so I'm going to be very informal with you, all right? I think that, first of all, I want to thank WeWorks for putting this on. It's a phenomenal facility. I'd never known about this. Now I find out it's nationwide or worldwide, and that's a big deal. And it's a great deal because how many of you are at WeWork itself here? Okay, so, well, you're all entrepreneurs and all trying to make it in this world. And I love to talk to people your age. At Home Depot, I did all the training, and I basically did the training speaking to kids. You're kids to me. I'm 88, you're like babies to me. I love talking to them because they were all entrepreneurs. They were all people who wanted to succeed in this world. They were not afraid of work. They had brains in their head. They knew that if they worked hard, they could succeed, and I have to tell you that most of them did. So I like to speak to this generation, but I'm nervous around the generation because I don't understand. How many of you consider yourself to be millennials? I'm afraid of you guys. You're weird. You're really weird. You're not like we used to be at your age. It's a lot different, and there are a lot of things about you that I don't understand, and a lot of it has to do with the environment that you live in. Many of you have been to universities, and there are a lot of things you hear in universities that affect how you address business, and that's what concerns me most. So let me start by doing this. Yesterday, I was at Grady Hospital. And at Grady Hospital yesterday, Jay was with me, Daniel was with me also. We dedicated a new unit for stroke patients who come back after they've had a stroke, where they need to have doctors take care of them. Grady has now turned into be the best stroke center on the East Coast, Southeast, without a question. By the way, stroke is a real problem. We had a young man there, how old is he, Jay? He was 28 years old, 28, had a stroke. He was here in Atlanta, and all of a sudden, he couldn't speak. His face became paralyzed on one side, and he fell to the ground. Didn't know what happened. At 28, you don't expect that to happen. And because they got him to Grady, he is now functioning 100%. And only because they do things at Grady that very few people do. They're able to go through the groin, into the vessels, into the brain, and dissolve the clot that's actually paralyzing you. And if they get in there in time, within 6 hours of the stroke, they can actually save your life. They are saving lives every single day. We hear the stories over and over again. They're coming from 70 different hospitals. By the way, almost all the hospitals in Atlanta feed into Grady because nobody has the kind of unit that they have. In addition to hospitals all over Georgia, South Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama, and North Carolina. They all fly people in by helicopter to be taken at Grady. It's called the Marcus Stroke Center. And we built it in a hospital that was destined to be destroyed. Grady's a very, very important institution. It's in an urban area. It's the place if you're a minority. There's no other place. It was going broke. And the philanthropists of the Woodruff Foundation and myself, led by somebody by the name of Pete Carell, really resurrected that place to a situation where if anything happens to anybody in the city of Atlanta or metropolitan or all the way out, 4 hours out, 5 hours out, they fly them in because nobody has a trauma one center in Georgia except for this place. This was all done by capitalists, which is a dirty word today. I am a rotten, miserable 1% capitalist rotten dog, okay? That's the way I was described, and I was told that to my face. By the way, in this last election, we heard this over and over again. Bernie Sanders group, and you may be, by the way, I'm politically incorrect. Any of you get offended by what I say, leave. I'm not changing, all right? That's what they sold the world on, that people like myself are bad. Every institution in the United States, in medical, in schools, in the colleges that talk against capitalism, the universities that tell people that capitalism is bad, were all donated by the capitalists who gave it money. You talk about biting the hand that feeds you, it's almost unbelievable. And that's what we hear today, but you have to understand something. I now dedicated my life to giving my money away. That's what I do. I'm in the philanthropy business day and night. That's all we do, and we do things like Grady. We're now building a new hospital at Piedmont Hospital. We have all kinds of tests running all over. And guess where it came from? All that money came from a place called Home Depot. And we started Home Depot in 1979 by 3 guys who were broke. We were all broke. I was 50 years of age at that time. So you could do the calculation, you figure it out. He's an old guy, whoa, he's really old. And we started here. We had no money. We had $2 million in capital to open 4 stores. And believe me when I tell you, if we didn't have the banks to help us, we couldn't have opened those stores and we never would have survived. Now here's the whole purpose of why we're here today, to talk to you about the free market and the capitalist system. I use the word free enterprise because I don't like to use the word capitalist anymore. It's a dirty word. They've made it dirty. But there's the other word called liberalism, which they don't use anymore. They use the word progressive. So I am now on a one-man thing to change the word capitalist to the free market, free enterprise. So from here on in, I talk about free enterprise, okay? So under free enterprise, I'm good. I'm a good person. Under capitalist, I'm a bad guy. You all get it? Now, what you want to do, all of you, you're all trying to build a business, right? Every one of you? Raise your hand again, those of you. Why do you want to build a business?
Just to be in charge.
To what?
To be in charge.
To be in charge? Okay. That's one thing. What else do you want to do with it? What do you want to do?
To make people's lives better.
You want to make people's lives better. Okay, what else do you want to do? What?
Significant.
Be significant. I did it to make money. I wanted to make money. I grew up in a family that was dirt poor. My parents were Russian immigrants. We had nothing. My father and mother spoke no English. We lived in a 4th floor tenement in Newark, New Jersey. And I lived through days that we hear about poverty today. That's luxury compared to where we lived and where I grew up. And there was no safety net. There were no handouts. There were no food stamps. If you didn't work, you didn't eat. And my father was a hard worker, but he never made enough money to pay for anything. And so we lived that way. And if you think about where I started and where I ended up, you understand what the free enterprise system is and why I am so dedicated to it. Everything I have today is based on that fact. And I have to tell you this, that looking over that, how did Home Depot get to where it was? First of all, we hired great people. But you see that we got Job Creators Network up here, and you have to understand, why do we have Job Creators Network? It's very important to me. I remember those days. I remember working 80 to 90 hours a week, 7 days a week. I remember all the kids that worked with me. These are people that we hired. We paid them very little. We promised them if they stayed with us and we ever went public, they would end up with stock. And our key was, we'll give it to you in the future. Startup businesses do that, don't they? Everybody works hard. And if you don't work hard, you don't achieve what you want to achieve. If you're working 9 to 5, you're not going to make it. You're just not going to make it. You see every success story has been made by people that work lots of hours. But let's go back to those years. If we had the rules and regulations that we had in place today, Home Depot could never have made it. We started with 4 stores. You went to our first store. I can tell you that most we could have opened was 7 stores. Every one of the rules and regulations that they have today are job killers in America. Every single one of them. The Labor Department, the NLRB, the EPA, every one of those little numbers, EPA, ARP, they're all killers. They're all job killers, made by people in Washington who really don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. I want to repeat what we just had today. We were just talking about it, right, at dinner. 15-hour minimum. Good or bad? Who do you think, how many people think it's good? 15-hour. Anybody have a clue? 15-hour minimum wage. It's a big deal. Let me tell you about the 15-hour minimum wage and why Job Creators Network is so concerned about the $15 an hour wage. The greatest producer of new jobs in America today are small businesses. There are 30 million small businesses in the United States. There are about 80 million people working for those businesses. 80 million. Many of those businesses start up with entry-level people who eventually end up earning and able to build themselves into something and end up owning those places. The greatest place is the fast food restaurants. They are the biggest builder of new entrepreneurs in the world. Kids that start out at a McDonald's, many of them, I mean, the numbers are exceptional of how many end up owning McDonald's, how many own the Chick-fil-A's. All of these places are owned by typically somebody that now owns the restaurant and makes a lot of money, but they work a lot of hours. $15 an hour. We have a young man that started out in the fast food business. He started working at the counter. He now owns 30, right? And he owns 4 in Seattle. They went to $15 an hour. He probably will have to close the 4 in Seattle. Now, the 4 in Seattle have about 25 young people each one of them. So that's 100 kids working in 4. They're all entry level. Let me give you a breakdown. It's 25 black, right? 20 Hispanic, correct? 45% minorities. How many women? 50, 40%, something like that? So the population that we're trying to help, this is entry level, which means that this is where they learn to go to work. They learn how to get along with people. They learn how to dress. They learn how to show up on time. It's a great opening for people. There, if this $15 an hour moves around the country, there won't be entry-level jobs anymore. I told them something today they didn't know about. McDonald's, which employs lots of people, so figure it out, 25 people a restaurant. McDonald's is testing, what did they call it? The automatic ordering on the iPads in 1,500 restaurants. 1,500 restaurants times 25 people. That's how many people they are not going to hire in this next, when they start putting it in place. It's thousands of people, because remember, these people only work a year, so it's thousands of people that won't get the entry level. So Job Creators Network, one of our keys is to create jobs. We want to see people grow. We want to see people start out. We want to see people have the ability to be successful. Let me go, that's only one. Labor regulations. Bank, Dodd-Frank. You've all heard about Dodd-Frank. You don't know what it means. Let me tell you what Dodd-Frank means. It means that they will, if it keeps up the way it is, and they don't knock Dodd-Frank out, when you go to open your business, whatever it is, you go to your local bank to get a loan. Is that right? There will be no local banks. They're going out of business all over the United States. And they're the ones that loan money. You'll end up having to deal with Chase, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and they don't do business with small people. If you don't have a balance sheet, you don't get any money. In my business, we opened up Home Depot. We had no balance sheet, but we had a bank that gave us a line of credit of $5.5 million based on the fact that they liked us, they trusted us, they believed in us. And who would do that today? With Dodd-Frank, you can't do it. So there's one regulation that's going to kill off all the entrepreneurs. Those are being changed, by the way. They're talking about killing it in Congress. You better hope that they kill it, because if they don't kill it, you're going to be a one-man show. You'll be a one-man show. You're not going to get bigger. So a lot of things are happening in this world that can affect your business that you're trying to be entrepreneurs with. And I hope you're going to be successful. But I tell you this, some of the answers were that you like to do things with your life. You can't give money away unless you make it. That must be a physics formula, you know? Is that a physics formula? Somebody that effort gives you energy, gives you effort. If you don't make money, what are you going to give away? You don't have it. The key is to make money, and that's the key. The key is the ability to make money. The key is to be able to make money and not have people stop you from making money at every sense of the way. Entrepreneurs are really the future of America, the same way they were in my day and age. Amen. Okay? They are. That's what they were in my age. And we built, we worked, we broke our backs, we didn't care about the hours, and many of us were successful. I hope, based on what happens in Washington now, that you're going to be successful also. And that's what Job Creators is all about. Job Creators is there to watch out for the small business guy. Now you say, why would I want to be involved with something like that? I'm very, I got a couple of bucks in the bank. I mean, I don't have to worry about the future. Why am I here, by the way? You have a clue? What the hell am I doing here? Anybody know? Tell me. Truth is, I want you to understand that an organization like this is working for you. And you have to join this organization because it does work for you. When bills come up in Congress, they are fighting for the small business guy. When bills come up in the state capitals, they are fighting for the small business guy. There's nobody out there that really cares about the small business guy. They really don't. Job Creators Network does. That's what they do. And the reason I started it, because I remember 1979. I remember how hard it was. I remember never being home. I remember never being able to spend time with my kids. But the benefit of working those hours now gives me the joy of doing all the things I do with my life. And that's building aquariums and hospitals and helping autistic children. You know, Marcus Autistic Center now is the biggest in the world, take care of more kids than anybody else, starting something like Autism Speaks. There are so many things that we're able to do if you have money. And if you can't make it, you can't give it. And the government does not make money for you. You make money. Okay? Just remember it. It's you that does it, not the government. I hate big government, guys. You have to understand something. I despise big government, whoever they are. So anyway, what did I forget? Did I forget something? Yeah, let me talk about Job Creators Network, about the video on taxes. Oh, I love taxes. How about taxes? Whoa. I'll give you one. You're a small business guy. Did you know that your tax rate as a small businessman is higher than General Electric or Ford or General Motors or the Home Depot? Did you know that? Your taxes are based on ordinary income. So even if you're building a business, you're charged at that tax rate. You should understand how high your tax rate is today, and if this new tax bill comes up, it's going to be a blessing for you. And I can tell you the Job Creators Network is working in overdrive to make sure that the tax bill that they're working on today increases a very important number for small businesses. So we have something to show you right now on taxes, okay? Okay, information station.org. Very important. There's another one, and that's joinjcn.com. And Elaine Parker's here. Alfredo is over there. They can give you information. This is an organization that represents you. If you want to be involved in something that has an effect on your life, the rest of your career, and everything that you do, this is something you better get involved with. Because if you don't fight for what's right, you don't fight listen, we're trying our hardest, but we cannot do it without people fighting alongside of us, the people that really benefit. So this is something for you as well as for everybody else. The number is outstanding. The highest 40% in the world for small businesses. How does a small business survive? And you guys, you're breaking your back here. You got little places here that you rent out to be inexpensive so that you can operate these things. And when you start adding people on, and you start to see what it does to you overall and how it affects your future and how it affects the future of your family, you're going to understand how important this is. So Job Creators Network, I think, is very important for you. So I'm going to end up by just thanking WeWork. I understand that they have a $20 million that they give away for a gift. Great organization, very interesting concept. Obviously, it's good for you, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So I want to just thank them very much, and just tell me that the free enterprise is something you have to be involved with. I hope I convince you. If you don't like me, what can I tell you? You be my mother-in-law didn't like me either, and so what the hell? I mean, I'll be able to deal with it. So I think we'll stop. You got any questions?